welcome back. Yes, as you can see, still using those chrome powders from Let's Resin. Gonna give them a rest for a little while, for a few videos now, I think. Or at least till we've ordered some more. But showing you these lovely moulds, tropical fish. I haven't got a clue what kinds they are, so I'm sorry about that. Or I could have a guess, but I don't want to get it wrong. But we've got 2 of these beautiful large moulds, 2 of the smaller ones, and then 2 smaller ones again. Going to use the same sort of technique as you would have seen us use in the video that we did the octopus, the big octopus and the smaller octopus. Still not convinced, you know, that the plural of octopus is octopi, but there we go. So using also some of the beautiful pastel twinkle tint glitters from Jules at Resin Jules. If you've not checked out Resin Jules, do go over and have a look at her. She's on Instagram. She's also got a website. She sells lots of lovely things that you can put in resin. Also has workshops and so on that you can follow along with and go on. So also using these chrome powders. So here we go. I've put a little bit of the twinkle tint in and it creates sort of almost like coppery orangey glow to this green. This green chrome powder is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All I'm doing here, and by the way, this has been sped up. I took my time doing this. But it's just sublime, these colours. I mean, wow. Absolutely still in love with these colours, still in love. I know I keep saying it, I'm sorry, sound like a broken record, but I can't get enough of them at the moment. But I promise after this, you'll have a little rest from them for a while. So just using the brush that came with the chrome powders to apply it. What you can't see off camera is that I am just wiping my brush on a piece of kitchen roll or paper towel before I put it back into the different colours there. So we've got gold, we've got green, we've got blue, we've got that lovely deep sort of magenta purple colour, and of course, me being me, quite a liberal amount of gold. So don't forget, once you finish doing that, you turn your mould over, you give it a bit of a tap just to get rid of any loose of the powder or the glitter. And I'm just going back in again and I'm really burnishing on that chrome powder and the glitter into the mould, so it gives it a real, just make sure that it's completely adhered to every last little bit of the mould where the resin is going to go. Now this mould has got lots of thin bits, as you can see there, on the edges of the tail and the fins. So you do need to make sure that your powder, if you're using mica powder, chrome powder, your glitters, whatever, is all thoroughly up and in those places. Then when you're happy with it, again, turn it over, give it one last tap. And I was happy with that. Look at that. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely mirror shine effect to it as well. I've got another one to do and 2 more. So this bit is a time lapse of me doing the other molds. My apologies for the overexposure there on the left hand side of the screen. But unfortunately nothing I can do about that now. There we go. I've done the 2 medium sized ones and then we're doing the 2 small ones, and this is the other large one, which I went for deep rose pinks, reds and gold. And again, just make sure that when you do it, you take your time. This is on time lapse for me, obviously. Turn it over when you've done, give it a good tap, gets rid of any excess. Look at that, the way that's shiny, sparkly loveliness. And as you can see, I've got it all over my gloves as well. There we are, that's the 2, just comparing them. And then these are the medium-sized ones. Look at those. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. My glove looks rather pretty too. But there we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So mixed up some T-Expert resin. It's a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. It's really easy to use, that one. Just happens to be a brand that we like using. We're not sponsored by anybody. You know, this is just us, what we like doing. Now I'm adding in some black liquid pigment. It's made by Vista. We've had it a while, so I was a bit concerned that maybe it wouldn't be all right. But it's good. Now this is a rather large amount of resin. It's a whole jug full. And we've already mixed in the resin and the hardener for about 5 to 6 minutes. So that'll give you an idea. It's roughly about a minute for every 100 mils of resin. Now, I'd already used some to do the octopuses, which you probably octopi even, that you saw on the left there. Now, this is a time lapse of me filling up all the molds, because it took me a while. And then going in with a micro brush all around the edges, just to make sure that, you know, all of the mold that needed to be covered in resin was covered in resin, because there's quite a bit of detail still in these small ones. There's no little air bubbles trapped, and I've obviously just zoomed you in a bit as well. Now you can see I'm not pouring it straight in from the jug, because it's a large jug of resin and these are smallish molds, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't pour it over the whole of my working area and into the mould. Obviously then wasting resin. So got a little bit too much in that one, so just taking it back out. So I was just pouring it in off of the stuff that was on the spatula there. And again, going in round with that micro brush, just making sure that there are no little air bubbles hiding anywhere. Because that would ruin it. If it cures with air bubbles in it, you don't necessarily get the edge and the surface that you want, or the effect that you want. So there we go, just going in again with that little micro brush. These are invaluable. If you haven't got any and you use resin, get some. Is about all I can say about that. It's just filling it back up. Now, I did spritz all of these with some isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure that if there were any little bubbles there on the surface, that they came up and they dissipated. So just zoomed out a bit so you can see this bigger mould. Now, as I said, when I was dusting these moulds, there are a lot of fine, thin cavities in this mould. So I poured in some into the center part of the body of the fish, and then literally, and this was painstaking, I mean seriously, I thought, what on earth am I doing this? But I had to go into each one of those little of the nooks and crannies of it, shall we just say, to make sure that the resin had gone in there, because if it hadn't and you demold it, it's going to look a bit odd and you're going to have a sharp edge, which of course you don't want. So just persuading the resin there, using the micro brush even, to drag it through and bring it through into those parts of the mould, and then just topping it up a bit more. You see the bubbles coming up to the surface there, and then spritzing it with some ice, putting it to one side, spritzing it with some isopropyl alcohol and letting it cure with the others. So there we go, happy with that one. Then this is the last one coming up. Now, you don't have to use black resin. You don't have to colour it black. You could colour it white, or you could use it clear. But most people will say if you're using chrome powders, if you're using chameleon powders or flakes, then the best thing to do is to use black coloured resin to fill up your mould, because it just really makes the colours pop. You can't see the black resin through it unless you've missed sections of your mould. But yeah, so, you know, that's what we decided to do in this instance. So there we go. This is 24 hours later. Now, we have got a few little bubbles come up on the surface there, but this is the underside, which no one's going to see. So I wasn't all that worried about it. Now, it is still bendy. And yes, you could leave it another 12 hours and then demold, but it does make it more difficult to get rid of any overspill that you need to just trim up. So very, very carefully, just taking the mould away from your resin piece here. Very, very carefully around these parts as well, because these are a lot more delicate and more likely to bend and twist and become misshapen. So as you can see there, I'm just holding the main body part of the fish and just carefully pulling the mould away from it. Just take your time, don't be in any rush. Just gently going round there like that, and it's gradually all coming away. I can see already from this part, you can see how bendy it is there. I can see already that there are places that I need to trim up, which I knew that was going to happen. That's absolutely fine. I like to use, if it's thin like this, then I will use a little pair of scissors, very sharp scissors that I've got. If it's any bigger or thicker, and depending on the finish, I'll use an emery board, which is just basically a nail file. So there we go, look at it. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Now you could just leave it that, trim it up, and that's it. You've got your lovely finished piece. And then it's up to you what you do with it. If you put it in, back it onto a piece of canvas and have it as a picture on the wall, or just have it directly on the wall with those, you know, the strips that you can get. I've forgotten what they're called, where you can put them up and then you stick your picture or your piece of wall art to them, and then you just pull them to release them when you want to take them down again. I've forgotten what they're called. Gosh, somebody let me know in the comments. I can't remember. They've got an M on them anyway. I don't know if they're called M strips, but anyway. So yeah, you can do that, or you know, you can just put some little plastic sticky feet underneath it. I think you know what I mean, the little bobble things. So if you want to put it down onto a shelf or onto a windowsill maybe, or something like that, or on the top of a table, then they're not going to mark anything, not mark any of the surfaces. So I did exactly the same thing with the other large fish, and look at this one. That beautiful dark rose pink, the red, the bits of gold on the ends there, and look at the two. There's the two combined. Now, okay, yes, I've got a pink work surface area, so it's probably not the best thing to show them on, but we do show them on a black canvas at the end so you can see them. So really, really loving these, really loving these. So just going to demold the others. Now, here we go. Again, go careful with these. Now I found these a bit more tricky to demold for some reason. Goodness knows why, because they're only small. But carefully does it. There we go. Now these little ones take next to no resin at all. So if you just wanted to do these, I'd probably say they take about 10 mils, 10-15 mils of resin, if that. But look at that with all the detail. Got a lot of overspill to deal with there, but that's okay. I'll just trim that up with my little scissors. It's beautiful. Really gorgeous. And that one with the blues and the silver and the green, looking really, really gorgeous there. Now if we move on to the other ones, these I've called the medium size. So we've got a small, medium and very large fish. Now these ones, to be honest, I probably should have left another 12 hours because there are certain area in the middle where the tail meets the end of the body, and it's very narrow. So it's very fragile in that part, and you do run the risk of it splitting or snapping off maybe, or breaking off, and of course that would be awful. I mean, there's no issue. You could just stick it back together with some super glue, but obviously if you wanted to then sell these on, that would make it a bit more difficult to do. That's just my opinion. So as you can see, I'm sort of struggling a little bit here, but my gloves are almost coming off the thumb area. Having said that though, these gloves are fantastic. They're called Boa Grips gloves, and they'll be linked in the description box below, along with everything else where we're able to. We will link, we'll list what we've used, and we'll pop a link in the description box for you. I think the majority of this stuff, apart from the twinkle tints, were purchased through Amazon. The twinkle tints are available via Jules from Resin Jules. Right, so here's the second medium-sized one. And just very, very carefully taking the mould away from the piece that you've made from resin. Look at that. So you can already see little bits of the chrome powder. These reds and oranges, I mean, just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. So that's both of them out of the mould. Look at that. Like flames almost on those tail. Almost like flames. And you can't actually see any of the black because we thoroughly coated the mould with the chrome powder. So they are beautiful. And here's the other one. We've got pinks and blues and silvers in this one. I'm not sure which one I like best. Have you got a favourite colourway? What would you do? Would you use the chrome? Have you used chrome powders at all? Have you used the Let's Resin ones, or have you used some different ones? Anyway, here we go for a little flyover shot. So this is all of them demoulded now. Again, apologies about the pink background, but that happens to be the colour of the silicone mat I'm using currently. But there we go. Now, me being me, I felt they needed a bit more blingage, which I'll show you shortly. We're just going to tidy these up a bit. So these are wafer thin overpour bits of resin. And I'm going to use these scissors, which it's just ironic that the colourway of on the metal on these scissors actually matches these colours really well. Yeah, pure fluke, that is. Pure coincidence. So just snipping down along the edges there until I'm happy that it's all come off, and it's this sort of thing here. I don't know if you can see that on my glove. There we go. As always, if you've joined us today to watch and you haven't subscribed, why not subscribe to our channel? It's free to do so. Hit the notification all button, give us a thumbs up, and share the video. Comment, did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, what didn't you like about it? Have you got any suggestions of things that we could do differently, or anything that you'd like to see us do? If you have already subscribed to us and you've joined us for the premiere and you're in the live chat, hi. If you're not in the live chat, don't worry, it's still really nice to see you. Thanks for coming back. And you will know that this is me just adding a little something extra. I just felt like it needed a little bit of blinging up. This is what I was hinting at earlier. So this is a gold chrome mirror shine pen from Deco Colour. Again, this is linked in the description box, and I love it. The only thing being is I need to find somewhere that sells, or a brand that sells the kind of paint they put in these pens, or this particular brand of pen, but in a pot, so I can use it from a pot rather than having to try and get it out of the pen and then use it that way. Now, there's a little bit of a time lapse coming up. Again, sorry about the overexposure on the left there, where what I decided to do is add in some more of the gold chrome paint from that pen. And the only thing where I can do that is just to press something down on the nib of the pen on my silicone mat until you get like a little puddle of the paint come out, and then use this very fine brush just to do what I'm doing there, and that is just to go around some of the more detailed parts of the fish, just to give him that little bit of a highlight there. Can you see that? I've also done his eye, his gills, just around the edge of some of the fins and some of the higher raised parts of the mould, of the detail of the mould. There we go. So hopefully you're enjoying this video so far. If you haven't seen any of our videos, why not check out our playlist and you'll be able to see them. We've got a collaboration coming up as well very, very soon. In fact, that is on the 14th of June, and that's in association with Claire's Crafty Corner. Why not obviously have a look, click our the notification bell and see us, and then because next week you've got a video on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Now, if you don't feel happy using a paintbrush, what you can do is this. So dab up and down with the nib of the pen on your silicone mat, then pop your finger, your gloved finger, in it, and just rub over the raised areas of the silica of this resin piece, and you can see it'll come out and it'll give you just that little bit of something extra. Just elevates the piece. Now, I was going to do the same thing on this one, but it just wasn't quite, it wasn't doing it enough for me. So I went back to using the paintbrush just there over on the tops of the raised parts. That's down his backbone there, on the eyes, a little bit on the edges of those of his tail and fins, and a little bit on the, is it a nose? Oh no, it's the mouth, isn't it, Laura? Don't be silly. It's the mouth of the fish. Just to elevate it, just that little bit extra there. I really, really enjoyed doing these. I felt completely relaxed. Do you have a favourite type of craft that you do, where you just feel, you just get completely lost in what you're doing? Is it mixed media? Do you like using polymer clay or Fimo clay or air dried clay? Is it oil painting, watercolours? Is it acrylic paint pouring? Is it using resin? Is it doing drawing? So if you're drawing by hand, or is it doing colouring? Because there are a lot of adult colouring books and options and things available at the moment. We've got quite a few of those actually, and those are also very relaxing to just sit and do. These are absolutely lovely. Now here they are in the final shot, looking beautiful. These are just on a back piece of black canvas, just to give you the idea of what they look like on this kind of background. Apologies for the shadow you can see there in the footage. These are also available to purchase via our website. Link to our website and these will be in the description box. If you have joined us, thank you for doing so. Joined us in the live chat, hello and goodbye. And we will see you again. Happy crafting, everybody. Bye bye.